Hey Mom, what's up? It's your lovely son finally calling in to do a Christmas time in Korea video. I'm chilling outside up on a hill behind my dorm, just went for a walk, and I don't know, I figured it'd be a good time to make the audio for this thing finally. I tried doing it a few times in my dorm with like my microphone and my laptop, but it just felt really scripted and I had to keep my voice down just because there's neighbors and all that. So yeah, I just figured let's treat it casual. Plus I'm in nature, which is awesome. Get a great view, and I think I might take a walk around while I do this. So I wanted to talk about what are the holidays like here. Because I know you're doing some stuff in school about like Christmas in other countries, like maybe Germany or China. But I figured, Korea's got a lot of cool stuff that happens during Christmas time. And I don't know, I haven't really shown you guys too much of like where I am. So it could be fun just to make a video and, I don't know, show off what is Korea and Seoul and Daejeon like during the holidays. And what do we do? Who celebrates it? What happens? So on. The first main focus I could think of in a difference between the US and Korea is really the difference in topic or focus of the holiday itself. So in the US, we get everyone under one roof. You got the family, you got the extended family, kids and whatnot, and you're all having a jolly time. In Korea, it's actually quite uncommon, I guess, to celebrate with your family. And that's because in Korea, Christmas is more of like a second Valentine's Day, or maybe a pre-Valentine's Day, however you look at it. It's really meant for couples and lovers and just romance in general. And so during the holidays, you're probably not going to hear about people going out to have a family dinner unless they live with their family already. People usually go and travel with their partners and try to have a good dinner, go out and see the cities, and overall just experience what Christmas is through the lens of another. That's really sweet and everything, but it can be challenging if you are single. I know when I was living in Korea for the first time or second time in Busan in 2019, I was still there around the holidays. It was kind of nearing Christmas, and man, Korea is already a very couple-oriented culture, but during Christmas time, it gets turned up a lot. So one thing that I notice and many other people do is that couple coordinating is a thing here. It's, it fades in and out, but you'll see people wearing the same outfits and coordinating. And one of the things during that time was like black peacoats. They were so in. They're not super in now, but I know I bought one because I just saw couples everywhere wearing them, and I didn't really want to stand out and be that one foreigner walking around with this colorful North Face jacket, so I gave in. But the holidays really make you feel like you need to be with someone whenever you're in Korea. The next main difference I could think of between Korea and the US is kind of like on a related topic of like focus of the holidays, and that has to do with religion. So a sizable portion of Korea is Christian. Like, it's not a majority, I don't think, but you see churches everywhere. They pop up here and there, and I guess they got a good following, maybe with the older folks. But really, a huge difference between Korea and the US is that Christmas time is like a super commercial holiday. And I guess it is a commercial holiday too in the US these days, but you'll get the point. So churches in general in Korea, you kind of get a Creaster audience, Christmas and I guess Easter, and during the holidays, that's no exception. I'm sure you have people coming in just for Christmas, dressing up with their partners to go in for a morning service, but really, Korean Christmas isn't so much focused on the church. You see companies adopting everything that they can about the holiday spirit, dressing everything in red and green, and really the whole world around you becomes about the season. I'll kind of touch on that a bit more, but churches don't really rein in on that so much. Churches, of course, do put up Christmas decorations during that part of the year, but, I don't really hear of many of my friends or people that I know here going specifically to church on Christmas Day. So on that kind of note that I hinted at earlier about, commercialization, I guess, that is a huge, huge thing here, which honestly blew me away whenever I first came to this country around Christmas time. Of course, as I mentioned before, Christmas in the US is a pretty commercial thing, as it is. But in Korea, I'm not Korean, the country really owns up to spending as much money as they can. And that leads to some interesting differences in how we treat presents and trees, which I'll talk a bit more about. But overall, a theme that you'll notice from this is that Koreans typically don't celebrate Christmas from their own homes. Christmas is something they go out to experience. It's kind of just like a part of the urban life or the city or the country that just changes during that time. And part of the reason for that, I think, is because Koreans spend a lot of money. It's maybe a generalization, of course. I mean, people spend money in a lot of countries everywhere, but Korea, as far as I know, is like the top spender in luxury goods in the world. I mean, status is a factor in that, I'm sure. And another part of it is just that money is a gateway to doing things in this country. I mean, sure, there's a lot of parks you can go to. There's a lot of public plazas you can go see. But really, if you want to be doing something, at least something worth posting online, you're going to be spending some money for it. And for that reason, malls and markets and everything just go all out during this season. I know when I was researching for this video, I was asking my friends in Seoul and whatnot, like, hey, what do y'all do whenever you go out for Christmas in Seoul or anywhere in the country for that matter? And a lot of them told me that I had to check out this mall on kind of the southern part of Seoul called the COEX. And to give some context, the COEX is this huge, huge, huge place. It's really international. It's kind of tucked underground. It's got a few levels, but the main thing that they're known for is this huge library. It's called the Starfield Library, I think. It's connected to huge hotels and international business parks and whatnot, but it's really a center for a lot of commercial and trendy activity in Seoul itself. So the library every year puts on a big Christmas display, and this year, as per tradition, they had a huge tree. So I went out and checked it out, and yeah, I mean, it was cool. It was a nice tree. I kind of had to elbow my way through some people just to even make it to see the view of the place. But I think more than the trees and the decorations, what hit me more was just the sheer amount of people that were going out to see this thing. So even though people weren't spending money just looking at a tree, I mean, I saw just hordes of people coming in and passing out and going out to check stores around the place. I mean, you really see that Christmas is just a magnet for money and commercial activity during December. And companies, of course, take advantage of that. Why wouldn't they? So besides the COEX, another big example I can think of is this mall kind of out in central Seoul. Basically, rather than having a huge Christmas tree, they go all in on LED decorations. So I remember when I was, living back home in Texas, and I was just hanging out during Christmas time. I think this was maybe 2020 or something. And I started seeing these stories pop up with my friends of this mall. And you see the outside is all decorated really pretty. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm sure I won't see that 30 more times during the day. Well, sure enough, I did. So nearly all of my friends who lived in Seoul, and even those who didn't, went to just go check out this mall's facade. And I was even scrolling through Reels, and I saw people posting this thing, getting tens of thousands of likes. So of course, whenever I came out here, I had to go and check that thing out. So I came out to Seoul during Christmas time and saw the billboard and the facade, And yeah, it was cool. I don't know if I'd go see it again or stay there for more than 5 minutes, but I could say that I did it. Maybe I'm just a Scrooge this time of year. I don't know. But it was cool. I'm happy that people like it. So I think overall you kind of get the vibe that, Christmas in Korea and Seoul is this really mismatch of spending and couples and whatnot. And I think something that kind of relates to all of that is an absence of kind of the art of gift giving in Korea. That's probably going to sound really harsh to any Korean person hearing that, but in the US, we usually set up a tree and decorate the home, and then we put our presents under, and you hope that your kids don't shake the box to figure out what's inside. But as far as I can tell in Korea, that's not really something that happens here. And I think that one of the reasons for that is something that I alluded to earlier. It's that Christmas is really taken care of by the public realm. So there's not really a huge incentive for you to buy your own tree in your apartment or home and set it up and put some presents under. Maybe it's also part of like a space thing or a storage thing. I don't know. But in general, I've never really heard of my friends and their families setting up their own tree at home and putting presents under. It's, something I wish did happen in this country. I think it's really nice to have some element of anticipation to what's going to happen. But I understand, the public and commercial spaces really take a hold of the holidays here. And with that money that they accumulate, they can really, put a lot into their decorations. So it's kind of a trade-off, but yeah, just something I thought was worth noting. But that's all Seoul and the hustle and bustle. But I thought I'd also mention, where I live and what I do here in Daejeon. So, as you probably know, Daejeon is out about an hour south of Seoul, almost same distance to Busan as well. And people say it's the most boring city in Korea. I don't know if that's true. I have a lovely time here, but I can see why they say it. It's because Daejeon is extremely natural. What I mean by that is that as soon as you get off a bus or a train here, the first thing you might notice is just how clear the air is compared to other parts of the country. I mean, in my mind, it's kind of like a Colorado or, a Fort Worth compared to New York or Dallas. It's relieving. It's quiet, but it's peaceful. So people come out to Daejeon for the environment and the air and the hiking and whatnot, but also for the wonderful river that we have. It's called the Gapcheon. It cuts all throughout the city and splits out into different little streams. During December and January and February, it's really nice to go out to the river and just check out what's going on. Parts of it freeze over, so you get to see a lot of birds perching out on the ice. And really, once you get out and see all of this nature and splendor unfolding in front of you, everything just kind of stands still for a bit. The mountains are covered in snow, leaves are gone, and everything is just still. It's nice. But it's a double-edged sword because, it kind of makes things quiet, alone, isolated. But it's kind of nice to get out of the city sometimes and just see other parts of the world and the country especially. I know whenever I've been to Seoul for too long, I kind of miss Daejeon. I crave coming back to it, stupid as it sounds. But it's a nice city for a lot of reasons, and one of those reasons is that it just kind of takes care of you. You don't need a plan. You don't need to reserve yourself a fancy dinner for the holidays. This town is filled with people who are hanging out and doing their own thing, and Christmas time is just something that rolls in and passes by. And I respect that. Of course, you still got malls decorating and shops galore spending tons on decorations, but but it's not nearly to the same degree it is in Seoul and other major cities here. One business though, that does go all out in kind of a positive light in my mind is a bakery called Samsingdang. You actually recommended this place to me whenever I was first coming here. You were doing some Google research like best places to go in Daejeon 2023 or 2022, whenever that was. And this bakery is one of the first places that pops up every time, and there's a reason for it. Samsingdang is this shop owned, I think, maybe by the Catholic Church or related to it, and they pump out some high quality goods, but they do it for cheap. And they have become so popular that I've seen people in Seoul carrying around merch from Samsingdang. It's that insane. For good reason. They're a good company. They donate a lot of their food and even money to people who need it. And they really know how to treat Christmas in style with their goods. One thing that I've noticed is that when you go to their stores, they've got these cute little displays popped up. They're selling European cakes and other goods from other parts of the world. I had to stop by and check it out. I had to elbow my way through people, just like in the COEX in Seoul, but I think it was worth it that time. Their food is really good. But there's this classic joke that if you're coming to Daejeon, there's only two things to see: KAIST and Samsingdang. So, besides that, what's there to do? Well, thankfully, people in Daejeon know how to have fun outside, and one thing that you can do is go ice skating. So I didn't actually go here myself, but I checked out this ice skating rink that they have in the city hall. It's wonderful. It's kind of surrounded by our botanic garden and our cycling park, and as you can tell from the videos, everyone comes out. Whole families, couples, people just alone, even older people. But besides ice skating and Samsingdang and all those other wonderful things that you can experience on your own or with a family or a couple, really, my Christmas is spent here at KAIST. I don't know, this will sound kind of mean or good, but I think KAIST takes all the best and the worst parts of Daejeon and tucks it into one little pocket of the city. What I mean by that is that you've got a lot of happiness and events that happen here. They take care of us really well. We got good food. But one unique thing about KAIST compared to other universities is our reliance on international students. So, of course, I'm one of them, but I'm a full-time employee, technically. I'm a researcher, so I got to be here. But other students, they're usually exchange from France or Germany or somewhere else, and they really don't have a reason to be here during the holidays. So what's common is that a lot of those foreign students kind of dip out during Christmas time or even the summer, and the undergrads, the Korean students, also go back to their hometowns. And so what you're left with at KAIST during Christmas time is just this working class of graduate full-time students just kind of doing their jobs, doing their research, and making a life. It's the dream. But it's not so bad. I mean, the campus decorates. They changed their website. Even the translation apps are putting on a holiday theme for the year. There's Christmas trees and decorations and all kinds of things about to see. So I'm not making it out like it's some kind of desert or something, but it can be a little alone. But that's why you have friends and family and the internet and Netflix. So how bad can it be? Yeah, overall, that's Christmas in Korea and Seoul and Daejeon. And in general, I'd say, you got to find someone to spend Christmas with. It's a nice season to go out and just enjoy things in Seoul or Daejeon, wherever you are. But you got to spend some money, but it's going to be worth it because really money takes you pretty far here in Korea. But after all that, I thought I'd just briefly mention, how did I spend Christmas? Did I have fun? Where did I go? What did I do? What did I see? So, I thankfully got to get out of KAIST and Daejeon. I know I was just praising the city, but I had to get out. So, I made a trip to Seoul, and got myself a Airbnb on the 20th floor of an apartment tower, kind of on an outskirt of the city. I didn't want to be around too many people during that time, so thankfully the little suburb that I was in was a little more peaceful than the main downtown parts of Seoul. One of the highlights of what I did was checking out this botanic garden that's on the far western part of the city. I severely underestimated how many people were going to be there, but I still had tons of fun. It was this huge complex out in a really kind of isolated exurb of Seoul. And when you go in, you're just immediately surrounded. It is kind of like the gardens out in Dallas. You're just surrounded by lush greens, and it is a totally different atmosphere and temperature than it even is from the outside. I loved it. The flowers are beautiful. I loved seeing just nature again and feeling warmth. That was awesome. But other than the gardens, I honestly just chilled in my place. I watched the movie Chef, had some Indian food. I did check out some thrift stores and whatnot, but overall, I just kind of relaxed and tried to clear my head. It was fun. I'm glad I got to get out of Daejeon for a bit. But now I am back in Daejeon, of course, recording this, and I'm just trying to reflect on the holidays and all this time and just think about things I'm grateful for. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here. It's a wonderful country, and the holidays are really a special time to experience Daejeon and South Korea in general. I'm grateful for all these views and the scenery around me and the nature, and I'm just looking forward to seeing how this next year brings in some new things. It'll be fun. But thanks for listening. It's been kind of a long time for me to record this. I've been sick for a while. I had to catch my breath a few times recording this because I'm just walking outside. But it was fun to make this. I think that there's tons of ways that I could just share Korea more with you and talk about what are the fun things or the not so fun things sometimes that I have to deal with. I think that the things that I run across here day to day would just be interesting to share, at least for the average American. I don't know about other people's. Hopefully you liked it, Mom. I know that you will. It's for you. So anyways, happy holidays, very late Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year, and call you soon. I love you.